Hello, yeah, first video of 2025, guys. I've got wimpy kid hair. Okay, that's great. I have fucking wimpy kid hair. Anyhow, welcome to, I watched, you're probably wondering, holy shit, Tommy, it's been a fucking while. The fuck are you doing? Look, I'm gonna be real, I've just not been doing a fucking lot of anything. For the last half of 2024, I had no motivation to do like any sort of video making or watching anything or really doing much of anything. I bet I like finished like a dragon, which sounds impressive until you realize that I had beaten Yakuza 1 till 4 and a bit of 5 in like the first half of the year, pretty much. I don't like Yakuza 5. I think that game is fucking dog shit. The story is glacial, and they decided to fill the entire thing with random encounters. Anyway, you're here for Avengers. My sort of New Year's resolution, you could say, is trying to get myself to watch more movies. To be fair, I didn't start like entirely this year. Last year I started, near the end of it, I started watching the X-Men movies. I'll say, after watching the X-Men movies, I appreciate the MCU a fucking load more. Wow. Yeah, I can't even like joke about like how much like the best way to describe it. The MCU has an unapologetic adoration for the comics. It's like these things are kind of silly, they're kind of goofy sometimes, but they have heart, and we want that in our movie. The X-Men movies, on the other hand, are just like, no, comics are like lame and they're for like lamos. No, we're gonna be cool with our fucking black spandex and like Logan and a wife beater. Ugh, those movies are so bad. The First Class is good. So far, I've watched from the first one to First Class. I'm watching it like our time chronologically released because there's like 5 different fucking timelines. I have to clarify. So yeah, Avengers 1. This was like a fucking massive thing. Let's see, 2012. So I was like still I was still pretty young when this movie came out. I didn't really get it, but even so, I heard about this movie. Everyone was like, "Oh, Avengers is so good." I was like one of the only kids in school who hadn't seen it because I get nervous asking my parents for things. But yeah, Avengers, this movie, even though I have the context of all the previous movies, I can just tell it does a really good job at setting up all the characters, except for Thor, which is really funny because he's probably the most important character in this son of Loki, and he's given the least amount of fucking like actual like setup. This is a Thor sequel of every out of everything. This is a Thor sequel, which is so fucking funny. They really went, oh yeah, what of our movies should we like try and like mainly set this up by, you know? The beloved, popular Iron Man duology at the moment? Nah. Captain America? Yeah, decent bit. Hulk? They don't really they don't really acknowledge the Incredible Hulk at all. They also get Mark Ruffalo to replace Edward Norton. Basically, Edward Norton is apparently a massive diva on set. I'm just gonna push this back. This is bugging me a lot. If you don't know, guys, I use my PC as a fucking recording stand with a UV plushie on top of it. So, because of that, I can't see the top of my head. I don't know why that's just bugging me a lot. Okay, that's better. I like having a bit. Oh, that's tilted. I probably should cut this out, but that's the appeal of the Real Life Saiyan YouTube channel. You get to see the real me. So the movie begins, and they're like on the they're like the guy from 4-1, Selvig, who was like the weird guy who's obsessed with space or whatever. I don't remember 4 that much because who the fuck does? 4 fucking sucks. I'm never gonna let go of my hatred for that movie. Hopefully the next 4 movies better. So yeah, out there on the Tesseract, and it turns out it's Loki. Ooh, he didn't like die. I think. This movie like very heavily follows 4, and that is the movie I remember the least from Phase 1. So yeah, Loki is like there, and he has this like amazing like shit-eating grin when he first comes out. It's really good. Tom Hiddleston is like amazing in this movie. With one very weird caveat, and I wonder if anyone else has noticed this. In this movie specifically, Tom Hiddleston always looks like he's about to start crying. Maybe that's just me, but like his eyes are always really, really wet. I know this sounds so weird, but I noticed it, and now every single scene Loki's in, I just see like it looks like he's about to cry. It's really weird looking. Also in the first scene I noticed, he had like really big rings around his eyes. He had like eye bags, so like that was a cool little detail. I'm guessing he went through some shit after 4. Again, I don't remember 4, so yeah. And then he gets started. He like starts like brainwashing people. He brainwashes the Norwegian doctor guy. I'm pretty sure he just brainwashed some generic goons, and he brainwashed Hawkeye. Okay, look, I love Hawkeye in the comics. The thing is with Hawkeye, he's a very easy character to show. He is very, very easy to just laugh at. Because he's the guy with the bow and arrow amongst a bunch of fucking superheroes. And, like, that's the point of him in the comics, you know? He's, like, a regular guy just doing his best, kind of. But, like, man, they really just didn't, like, make it easy for, like, him to be cool, huh? Like, my favorite example, this is way later in the movie, because that's how... This video was probably going to get a little traction because of Marvel Rivals. I probably should have done this earlier, so we could get that Marvel Rivals real money. But, yeah, you know what? There's still going to be a lot of Marvel going around. You might come across this. Welcome. My videos are structured like a sack of shit. So yeah, enjoy. Later on in the movie, Hawkeye, he's like fighting the aliens, the Chitauri, I remember that, on top of like a big skyscraper, and like he runs out of arrows, and it shows his quiver, and he just has like 22 total arrows. What the fuck is he doing in an alien invasion? Like people joke on Black Widow, she uses a gun at least, and like she's obviously not meant to be like the frontline Avenger. What the fuck is Hawkeye gonna do? He can kill 22 people or something like that, and it's like shit. My favorite part of that though is how his quiver has like arrowheads in the back. In what fucking world would you need more arrowheads than you have arrows? Like, fair enough, a couple of them for when you, like, take them back, so they're, like, poles you, like, attach them onto. Fair enough having, like, a couple extra ones. But, like, the bottom of it's full, and he has no, like, more quivers. How fucking much? How much were you expecting to do here? Be real with yourself, Clint. You should have used one of Black Widow's guns and put it in his mouth. If you don't know that's a real thing, Jeremy Renner did. So yeah, you get this epic car chase with like Maria Hill, played by Kobe Smulders, I think her name is. I really hope that character gets a redeeming send off and not just killed off in a fucking Disney Plus show. Yeah, that's the thing with the MCU. So it's kind of hard to get excited sometimes because you know some of the shit that comes later. Like every once in a while when I'm like watching one of these movies, I'll sit to myself, wow, I have to watch Quantumania after this. I have to watch 4, Love and Thunder. A little about Guardians, I'm really looking forward to Guardians. I seen Guardians 1 and 2 a while back, but that was when I was like a dumb little fucking pea-brain. I didn't know film yet. I hadn't even seen the unabashed kino of Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. So, yeah, that was definitely... I'm definitely really happy to... I need to talk more about Avengers, okay, so... Yeah, and then this movie you get to see, like, I'm trying to remember, again, I try and talk about specific structure, and it just kind of falls apart. One thing I will say I like about this movie, it's actually very accurate to the original story, in both an actual genuine sense, and the fact that the Avengers spend more time fighting amongst themselves as they actually spend fighting the bad guy. Because yeah, this movie actually is kind of a retelling of the original, like, not really, but it has a lot of, like, aspects from the original first Avengers comic. Loki is the main villain. Thor's just kind of doing his own thing half the time. Admittedly, there's one thing here that kind of sucks, and that's the fact that Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne, I think that's her name at least, aka Ant-Man and Wasp, aren't here. I can live without Hank Pym, to be honest. But Wasp is my fucking god. I love her. I love Wasp so much, and like, Black Widow's cool, I guess, but like, Wasp. To be fair, I kind of get why this movie doesn't have them. This movie was like 2.5 hours. No, it's like 2:20 or something like that. It does work. It doesn't actually feel that long. Funnily enough, it actually feels like one of the better paced movies in the MCU. But like, I can 100% see a version of this movie where they try and introduce those two, and it's just too much. I sure hope we won't get to a movie that is just doing too much later on. To be fair, I haven't actually like seen Endgame, so who knows? Maybe I'll be one of those people who thinks it's like the coolest shit ever, or maybe I just won't. Who knows? So yeah, this movie, it just has like all the event, and I think they're all just. I don't talk about. I have been so out of practice with this. It's even less coherent than usual. Yeah, I really like Captain America in this movie. I really. Shit, this is falling apart. Hang on, shit. Hi, I'll pause there. I'm gonna sound stupid. I just kind of like forgot what I was trying to say and had to spend a minute trying to think of it. Because one thing this movie does really, really well is heart. This movie unabashedly wants you to give a shit about these characters, which is really good. Again, after coming off the X-Men movies, where if you aren't Wolverine or maybe Storm or Xavier, you don't fucking matter, it's such a breath of fresh air. Like, all the characters are given something to do. Black Widow, who is, let's be real here, not really much of a character in Iron Man 2. She was Scarlett Johansson is hard, the character. Which, I mean, yeah, true, but also what? But no, in this movie she's actually given a lot of like actual personality. You know, you can tell she's a little bit snarky, which is, to be fair, that's everyone in these movies, but I feel that's definitely a part of her. But you can tell she's definitely got a lot of shit going on. I really hope they make a prequel movie about her. I really hope the executives don't fuck it over for no other reason than she's a woman. That's real. Look it up. What the fuck? So, yeah, like, Black Widow is pretty good in this movie. Captain America, Iron Man, Bruce Banner, they're all really good. This movie is just also, like, funny. That too. Like, most Marvel movies are like, huh. But this movie, I got the occasional chuckle out of me. I like when, like, Tony's giving a speech and just says, like, someone's playing Gallagher. That's just funny to me. And, like, so there's one really cute little moment I liked where Captain America is like training like a 1940s era like boxing thing, which I'm guessing Shield made specifically for him. And Nick Fury says to him like, "Oh, you need to help us." And he says at the end of it like, "Oh, $10 says you'll see something weirder than what you've seen like now, you know, being exposed from like Times Square because we've got to have the obligatory Times Square shot in every other New York movie." And then later on, when like Cap's actually on the Quinjet, he just gives a little $10 to like Nick Fury. That was really like that was just a really fun moment. Speaking of like the characters, again, no structure to these videos. Hawkeye is actually kind of cool. When like I know I was joking about it earlier with the quivers, but that's just because like you know Hawkeye and Clint are like separate entities. Clint is cool. I really like him. He's got a very. This is definitely a much more modern version of him, inspired by Bendis. But yeah, this is definitely like someone who's like a bit more practical, and you can tell like, you know, he and they do a really good job in this movie of showing you like he and Nat clearly have a relationship we just haven't been privy to, and I think that's really good. Because I think because they haven't had their own movies, there definitely had to be a lot of like lifting in this movie for them, and I think they did a good job. But yeah, Hawkeye, just like the superhero, is so fucking unapologetically at least in this movie, they didn't give him the original outfit. I actually really like the outfits they give in this movie. Black Widow is pretty much just like a black like jumpsuit. Like, yeah, fair enough. You could pretty much do that anyone. Iron Man's suit looks incredible. They're still using a lot of practical stuff for it, which looks great. Thor and Loki look really good. Again, one of the few good things I had to say about Thor is the costuming was incredible, and that continues here. Loki and Thor have a bit more color on them, and I think that's good. This movie is very colorful, which is nice. This is like my favorite Captain America has ever looked, with one exception, and it bugs the shit out of me. His helmet and his suit are very slightly different. His helmet's a bit teal, and his suit's a bit like darker blue. And as soon as I noticed that, it actually annoyed me every time I do a shot and you just see it. It's no. Is it really that? To be fair, I work in print, and one thing you learn in print is that different materials have like different colors. So I guess probably they couldn't get the exact like teal shade of blue on like the plastic or whatever they use for the helmet. In that sense, fair enough, but also, look, it sucks. They basically just give the Hulk like brown grayish like trousers, which fair enough. But yeah, they don't give Hawkeye the original suit, which I'm so happy about. I defend a lot of 60s comic book silliness and like a lot of just older comic books because like sometimes they can look kind of cool, but every once in a while you just get like that Hawkeye design, which is so fucking ugly. Oh god, but yeah, I think they just did all the characters justice here, which is very nice. Again, X-Men movies. Oh my god, Cyclops is one of my favorite characters in Marvel. Seeing him done like that makes people to just spew fucking everywhere. I love how he just gets killed in like the first 10 minutes of X3. That shit was so cool. Ah, jeez. You also get the Chitauri in this movie. They're like the big bad guys. And all I have to ask is, what the fuck are the Chitauri? So, okay, the Chitauri. They are they aliens? Are they robots? Like, because everything about them seems to indicate they're aliens. The massive fucking worm things, they look like they have like blubber on them, you know? You can see them like jiggling a little bit, and you can see when like they get punched, it's like wiggling in like a very natural way. And you can see when like Black Widow just like, because she like has guns, just shoots one of them in the fucking head, blood comes out. So they're aliens, right? So when the big fucking blue beam to space that every other fucking movie around this time had, opened up the pool, and then Iron Man flies into the pool with the nuke, and when he nukes it, they all shut down. So like, there's clearly like a mechanical thing there. Maybe it's a hive mind. It might be a hive mind situation. Maybe. But that also doesn't... Who's the hive... That's not even how hive mind creatures think, I don't think. Anyone who knows... I was about to say Gontology, because I know it from Gonta, from Danganronpa V. Entomology. Anyone who knows entomology, can you let me know how hive minds work? So I know if the Chitauri are like a hive mind, and like that's a normal thing that like hive creatures shut down, or are they just stupid? Like, are they just like, are they like what's the deal with them? I think a good way I've seen this movie get described, and I kind of see it. This movie just makes you feel like a dumb old fucking 12-year-old in the best way possible. It's like the movie has enough emotion, like actual like nice scenes to make it like still feel like something worth a damn. But then it also just has you be like, that's the fucking Captain America full fighting people. Like I had the massive grin on my face for half the battle in New York. But there's one shot especially where Iron Man flies down whilst like Cap's fighting guys, and without saying a fucking word, they just team up. He uses the like repulsor beam on Cap's shield and just deflects it into a fucking like crowd of them, and I was just there with Stuma's grin. It's like, this movie is so cool. Because this movie is just cool. No, I think just the fact that it exists, first of all, is really cool. It's really easy to take for granted nowadays because fucking everything has to be a cinematic universe. How cool the fact is that you can have a bunch of movies that are all vaguely connected and they're all building up to the same thing. That's so cool. But every fucking studio is doing it, and every studio is doing a bad job at doing it. Remember the DCEU? I remember the DCEU. Remember how they basically just went Iron Man 1, Civil War, Avengers. Like, I'm not one of those people who's like, this should have been a solo movie for every character. Because I think that's just very impractical. But you also don't jump to having them fight each other to save the world, and then also Superman dies, and then we have to bring Superman back, and then we have to fight Superman, and then we have to fight, like, Steppenwolf. And, like, Steppenwolf doesn't even look like he does in the comics, and he's nothing like how he does in the comics, and he's more like a really shitty version of Darkseid. But even Darkseid... I'm getting sidetracked. I really fucking hate the DC. It's funny, I don't even have that much of a connection with DC. When it comes to Marvel, it's mainly... Marvel, for me, it's like X-Men, Spider-Man, there's Dazzler. She's my god, I love her to bits. My Marvel knowledge is a lot more, like, widespread, I like to say. Avengers is kind of there, but here's the thing, guys. Avengers comics fucking suck. If you've, like, you never read Avengers comics, 9 times out of 10, they did a big like revamp of them because of Bendis, and basically it was just like, hey, we're gonna make the Avengers like actually cool, which is nice. Ugh, for me. But like for the longest time, it was just like the whole point of Avengers for a while was you can't have a book because it sells like shit, but you're popular enough to warrant keeping. So that's why it was always like Hawkeye and like Ant-Man and the Wasp and like the whole. That's another thing, by the way. That's really funny. Thanks to this movie, everyone thinks Hulk is an Avenger. He isn't. He's in the first issue of the Avengers, and this is real. The second issue of the Avengers, one of the first things you see is Thor being like, "Could you put some fucking clothes on?" And then, like, at the end of the second issue, where they fight, like, Namor or something like that, I can't remember. Stanley Avengers is shit. Hulk just goes, "You guys are mean, I'm leaving," and jumps off, and they're just like, fucking good riddance. We'll just keep an eye on you, but God, we hated that guy. That's one thing that I think is, like, nice, is that in this movie, they have the scene where it's like Loki Septus, like, corrupting everyone. Ooh. And they're all like arguing with each other and they're almost coming to blows, and a part of me likes to think that was at least slightly inspired by just the nature of the old Stan Lee comics, where you just question every panel why this is a team, because they all very clearly don't like each other. I can't believe I forgot about the saddest death in the history, Phil Coulson. Like, I get why some people think it's sad, but not really, to be honest. Yeah. I one thing I do know, and I want verification if this is real. I know they bring him back in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I know that. But apparently, they kill him off again, revive him again, and then kill him off again. And I really, really hope that's true, because that's so fucking funny. He's the goddamn Tesla of the MCU. A barely relevant side character who just kind of keeps coming back to life, and they barely explain it. They probably explain it in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I'm not watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's not canon. Fuck you. I'm gonna watch... Oh, God. Do I have to watch What If? I don't want to watch What If. I was thinking I have to watch the show. My idea for this, I'm not going to watch the shows that are canon to the MCU. I really hope that didn't include What If, aka the Agent Carr show. No, not Agent Carr. Fucking man, that was actually good from what I heard. I like her. This is Captain Carr, where she's just really strong and gets to win all the time. I'm not a woke grifter, I'm not a woke grifter, I'm not a woke grifter, I'm not a grifter, I'm not a grifter, I am not a grifter, I'm asexual for fuck's sake, I have thoughts, I'm not a grifter, I just heard a lot of really bad shit, even from leftist spaces on like fucking Reddit and shit, the show is just really, really centered on Captain Carr, please, I'm not a grifter. Oh, I should put that in the title. I should just talking like I watched Avengers and it's just me with fucking like fuming with like Captain Carter there. Oh, that must be the fucking pronouns guy. I can't believe they added that as a movie. They added a fucking woman to the Avengers. They're making it fucking woke. I was gonna do a bit where I was gonna get out one of my Avengers comics and like show that I had like Wasp there from the beginning, but like I don't know where my collection's kind of a mess at the moment. My room's kind of a mess at the moment. I'm kind of a mess at the moment. I mean, I'm wearing a shirt that's clearly too small for me. I think it shrunk at the wash a second. It's a cool Marvel shirt. It's got like Spider-Man and Venom and Carnage. I hate Carnage. But that goes from Primark, like £7. It's t-shirt. So yeah, overall, the Avengers movie, this is even more just complete and utter mess than half my rants. But this movie, I think, has a lot of heart. I think it's very enjoyable as like a silly, funny like movie and just like plow on to watch. It fills you with a feeling of just joy. It's very just like fun movie. I know that's not the best assessment, but I know some of the dregs we're going to be getting to later, and very, very shortly, because I'm pretty sure the next movie after this is 4-2. I can't wait for the 4-2 video. I could just emulate that for you right now. There. Why? Because you can't fucking see anything in that goddamn movie. From everything I've seen of it, it's just great and you can't see shit. This movie is colourful, which is nice. It's always a nice perk to have that in live action movies. Especially considering this was like 2012. That was like that was when it was starting to slightly taper off, but was still very, very much the thing of everything's grey and brown and murky because it's fucking realistic that way. Gears of War 1 ruined games. Like, I don't know how much of a thing that was in movies, but I definitely remember a lot of movies around that time period just had like a very weird colour palette. Also, another thing I like about this movie, because I was thinking about okay, my brain went colour palette, 2012 kind of era, Hunger Games, like the shaky cam, fight choreography, and that made me think of one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a goddamn movie, and it's from here. You probably already know what I'm thinking about as soon as I mentioned fight choreography. But yeah, the Black Widow's first scene is her. She's like captured by like some Russian guys. They don't explain it, but honestly, I kind of like that. It helps make the world feel bigger. Yeah, of course, not every character's doing something important. Well, like, she's still doing something important, but like, she's kind of fighting some general like Russian guys because that's what Black Widow does. So she's tied up and she's like fighting them, and she just does that as like a reverse headbutt, but she's like still in the chair and like. Because it's so clearly not making contact, and it just looks like her hair is knocking him out, and it looks so fucking bad that I genuinely like to think it's kind of intentional. I'm sorry, but like you look at it and it's just like it's blatantly obvious. Like a lot of like awkward fight choreography stuff kind of only comes to mind when someone points it out, but that like the hair whip is just so like it's almost iconic. It's almost iconic as like Dark Knight Rises. When you look at the background, like the riot scenes, and everyone's just like very clearly taking turns because it's a bunch of extras, and it's just like it looks like a turn-based RPG going on in the background. Yeah, that's one thing. Another thing I like about this movie, is the way that all like basically, I like how like the police are actually involved. Someone's gonna like call and cancel me on like fucking like some kind of social media for praising the police in a movie. But, like, it helps the heroes feel less, like superpower special ops. Having Captain America to be like, okay, hey, you guys, you actually have resources, like, block off the perimeter, try and get as many people out of it, take them underneath. Like, that was just a scene, like, how people go, like, oh, wow, they're actually, like, kind of thinking how this would work. That's, like, the kind of stuff that I think just really makes this movie, honestly. That's kind of this movie encapsulated. It's a very small scene. Doesn't add a lot, but it just shows a bit of heart and a bit of thought went into this movie. And I think that's just why it kind of resonates with you. Because, like, it is just an awesome movie of seeing a bunch of really cool shit. And it's just a really well thought out movie that very clearly had a lot of emphasis put on just, like, a lot of things. So yeah. Also, I wonder, because I know S.H.I.E.L.D. is very, like, they say, like, oh, S.H.I.E.L.D. did some bad stuff in this movie. I wonder if any of that comes back in Winter Soldier, because I've heard Winter Soldier has a lot to do with that. It's one of the ones I haven't seen before, which is odd, because I've heard a lot of people say it's one of the best ones. So, yeah, overall Avengers is very good. I also... If I had more effort into editing, which I don't, because I edit all this on a phone, and InShot, for as good as it is, really, really is a pain in the ass to use on, like, larger, like, scale things. But, this movie is obsessed with the Avengers theme. I've heard it gets really, really bad in Age of Ultron, but this movie loves just playing the Avengers theme any chance it can get. And, like, it's a good theme, don't get me wrong, but... Please, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it for the 8th time of just like... Again, I just hear that's worse than Age of Ultron, so I can't wait until I look back at the Infinity War. I've seen Infinity War, and it's really bad there too. So yeah, I can't wait until I watch Age of Ultron, and it's just 90 minutes of and you can't hear any of the dialogue. It's just score overwhelming everything. So yeah, next time you see me, I will probably be doing a 4-2 video, and I may have a gun in my fucking mouth. Who knows? See you next time, guys. Farewell.